There is a truth hidden beneath the noise of the world, a truth so subtle that most live entire lives without ever sensing its presence. Everything you experience, success or failure, joy or sorrow, abundance or lack, is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens through you. The universe is not random, nor is it cruel. It is exact. It mirrors with precision the vibration you hold within. This is the secret Abdullah understood, and it is the reason his life flowed with such effortless grace. What many called miracles were not miracles at all. They were the natural consequences of understanding the invisible law that governs all creation, the law of attraction. When people heard of his ability to manifest, they searched for techniques, rituals, and methods. They wanted steps and formulas. But Abdullah would smile, for he knew the secret was not in action, but in alignment. He understood that creation begins long before the hand moves, before the word is spoken, before the opportunity appears. It begins in the invisible realm of thought and feeling, where the unseen currents of energy shape the patterns that later become events. Most people reverse the order. They try to force change in the outer world, forgetting that the outer is only the echo of the inner. They believe they must see proof before they can believe, not realizing that belief itself is the proof that brings sight. The law of attraction is as exact as gravity, yet infinitely more personal. It is not something you switch on and off. It is operating always. Every emotion, every thought, every subtle conviction is an energetic signal sent into the field of reality, and the universe, impartial and obedient, reflects it back as experience. What you radiate, you receive. What you hold, you meet. What you consistently feel becomes your world. And this is where Abdullah's wisdom began to separate him from those who only studied the law as theory. He lived it as being. He knew that you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Modern humanity has forgotten this. It seeks external tools while neglecting the inner foundation. It runs from course to course, technique to technique, unaware that no method can override the frequency one lives in. You cannot attract abundance while feeling lack. You cannot attract love while harboring fear. You cannot draw peace while feeding anxiety. The vibration you hold becomes the magnet of your life. This is not moral judgment, it is mechanical precision. The universe is neutral. It does not decide what you deserve. It simply echoes what you are. This is both the greatest responsibility and the greatest liberation. Abdullah often said that the moment you understand this law, victimhood dissolves. You cease to see yourself as a product of fate and begin to recognize yourself as its author. The world is no longer an adversary to overcome, but a mirror to read. Every circumstance becomes feedback, every event a reflection of the frequency within. When you realize this, blame and complaint lose meaning. They are replaced with awareness. You stop asking why life is happening to you and begin to ask what within you called it forth. You stop chasing change and start embodying it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, life rearranges itself to match your new vibration. This law does not concern itself with appearances or time. It is not persuaded by effort or struggle. It responds only to energy, to the inner state of being. That is why so many fail when they try to use the law of attraction through forced positivity or repetition. Words without emotion are empty. Declarations without belief are hollow. The universe listens not to what you say, but to what you feel. Your dominant vibration, your emotional baseline, is the language of creation. You can say, "I am abundant," 1,000 times, but if you feel fear or doubt, that is the true command the universe obeys. The law of attraction cannot be deceived, for it speaks the language of energy, not intellect. This is the reason Abdullah taught Neville that imagining alone was not enough. The feeling must match the image. The vibration must agree with the vision. To think of wealth while vibrating in lack is to send mixed signals to the universe. The result is confusion, stagnation, delay. But when thought, emotion, and belief align in harmony, creation becomes inevitable. It is not magic. It is resonance. Everything you desire already exists as a frequency. Your task is not to chase it, but to match it. The moment your vibration aligns, the outer world must comply. It is law, not luck. You can test this yourself in the smallest ways. Notice how when you feel grateful, more appears to be grateful for. When you feel anxious, more reasons for anxiety seem to arise. The world bends to the state you occupy. It mirrors your inner conversation with exact precision. And yet, most live unaware of this power, believing their emotions are reactions to life rather than instructions to it. They believe they must wait for good news to feel joy, not realizing that joy itself is the magnet that calls good news. The secret Abdullah used was simple, but simplicity is often overlooked. He learned to feel first, to align first, to become first, and let the world catch up. The law of attraction is not something mystical reserved for the enlightened few. It is operating in every moment, for every person. You are using it right now, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every expectation you hold, every judgment you repeat, every story you tell yourself becomes the seed of future experience. That is why awareness is power. The more conscious you become of your vibration, the more deliberately you begin to shape it. You stop reacting to circumstances and begin to respond with intention. You start to see that nothing has meaning until you give it one, that the same event that breaks one person can awaken another, depending solely on their internal state. The law does not favor, it reflects, and this is where true transformation begins, not in changing the visible, but in mastering the invisible. For everything you see was once unseen. Every event began as a vibration, every outcome as a feeling. To alter your world, you must first alter your frequency. You must learn to dwell mentally and emotionally in the reality you desire, even when your senses contradict it. You must become so anchored in that inner conviction that the external world has no power to sway it. Then, without struggle, without strain, circumstances begin to move. Paths open. People appear. What once seemed impossible starts to unfold as the most natural sequence of events. This is the secret power behind all creation. Abdullah's mastery was not in effort, but in faith. Not faith as blind belief, but faith as inner knowing. The certainty that the universe cannot contradict its own law. He walked through life as though every desire was already done, not out of arrogance, but out of understanding. He knew that what is accepted within must express without. He never asked how or when. He simply aligned and allowed, and this is the first step in mastering the law of attraction, to realize that your outer life is nothing but a shadow of your inner vibration. Change the vibration, and the shadow must follow. The moment you understand that vibration is the architect of experience, the way you look at life begins to shift. What once felt random reveals its pattern. Every encounter, every delay, every disappointment starts to show itself as a reflection of what was once silently believed within. The law of attraction does not punish nor reward. It simply reflects. And reflection cannot be altered by pleading. It changes only when the image before it changes. This is the first responsibility of the conscious creator, to stop wrestling with the mirror and instead adjust what is being projected. Abdullah used to say that awareness is the highest form of mastery. To be aware of your own emotional tone, your inner climate, your habitual vibration, that is true power. Most people are hypnotized by appearances. They believe the world is happening to them, unaware that their constant reactions are weaving the next chapter of their story. They live by default rather than design, responding to life instead of creating it. But once awareness awakens, you begin to see that what you feel now is the blueprint for what you will live later. Every moment is a seed planted in the soil of your consciousness, and the harvest never fails to appear. The law of attraction is not interested in your words. It listens to your consistency. You can repeat affirmations endlessly, but if your emotions remain anchored in doubt or fear, the signal you transmit stays the same. The universe does not interpret language, it interprets vibration. Emotion is the true communication between you and the field of creation. This is why those who live in gratitude, love, and trust seem to attract more reasons for those very feelings. They are in harmony with expansion itself. Their vibration invites more of what matches it. Meanwhile, those trapped in worry and resistance unknowingly keep summoning circumstances that mirror that inner turbulence. The law does not choose sides. It simply amplifies the frequency you feed. Understanding this, Abdullah taught that the first task is not to change the world, but to master one's emotional state. For as long as your feelings are at war with your desires, no outer action can succeed. You cannot draw abundance from a heart that believes in scarcity. You cannot summon harmony while holding resentment. You cannot receive love while vibrating in fear of rejection. The external rearranges itself only when the internal is made whole. This is not theory, it is mechanics of consciousness. What you broadcast is what returns. When you align your emotions with what you seek, the entire universe begins to conspire in your favor. To align emotionally does not mean to force happiness or deny pain. It means to become conscious of what you are sending into the field and to deliberately choose again. It is to recognize that every emotion is energy in motion, and energy can be redirected. When fear arises, you do not suppress it. You observe it and choose higher thought. When doubt whispers, you do not surrender. You reaffirm your truth. This is not denial. It is dominion. Dominion over the only thing you truly control, your vibration. And the more often you return to alignment, the faster your outer world begins to echo that inner stability. Abdullah knew this and practiced it in silence. He did not chase outcomes. He cultivated states. When he desired something, he would first bring his inner frequency into harmony with it. He would close his eyes, breathe, and dwell in the feeling of already having it. He did not wait for evidence. He became the evidence. He knew that feeling is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The emotion you sustain becomes the energy signature the universe cannot ignore. To feel abundance before it appears is not delusion, it is creation. The world catches up to your conviction. Those who do not understand this law keep asking for signs. They look outward for reassurance, waiting for proof before they allow belief. But the universe does not respond to waiting, it responds to being. When you wait, you vibrate lack. When you embody, you vibrate possession. This is why so many prayers go unanswered. The words cry out for change, but the emotion behind them declares, I do not have. The law responds faithfully, not to desire, but to the dominant feeling. The moment you feel something as real, you have already commanded its arrival. What you accept emotionally becomes inevitable. It is not the intensity of wanting that creates, it is the certainty of knowing. Wanting vibrates absence. Knowing vibrates completion. The difference may seem small in language but enormous in energy. Abdullah often reminded Neville, do not wish it to happen. Know that it already has. That single shift in consciousness dissolves time itself. For in the realm of vibration, everything exists now. The future is not waiting to be written, it is waiting to be felt. The instant you feel your desire is present, the invisible begins to move, rearranging people, places, and circumstances in obedience to that inner declaration. To live this way requires trust, not in luck, but in law. It demands the discipline of holding faith when appearances contradict your vision. It asks for the quiet courage to persist in the unseen until it becomes seen. Most surrender too soon. They plant the seed of a new vibration but dig it up in impatience when results delay. Yet manifestation is not magic, it is gestation. Just as the earth takes time to reveal the sprout, the universe takes time to crystallize vibration into matter. Your role is not to interfere but to remain faithful to the state you have chosen. Faithfulness is power. When you hold a vibration long enough, reality has no choice but to yield. Every transformation begins in the invisible. The shift from lack to abundance, loneliness to love, chaos to peace, all of it starts with a change in feeling. You cannot outthink your vibration. You must outfeel your conditioning. You must choose the emotion of your desired reality and live in it until it becomes natural. This is the art of attraction. Not asking, not hoping, but becoming. To become the vibration of what you seek is to announce to the universe, I am ready. And the universe, which never denies resonance, responds instantly, though the evidence may take time to surface. Many misunderstand this law because they confuse desire with readiness. They desire abundance but vibrate in fear. They desire love but feel unworthy. They desire change but focus on lack. The universe does not grant what you ask, it mirrors what you are ready to receive. Readiness is not a matter of deserving. It is a matter of matching. You align with something not by chasing it, but by becoming compatible with it. When your inner state harmonizes with your intention, manifestation is effortless. You stop chasing and begin to attract. The energy you hold becomes a silent invitation that the universe cannot refuse. Abdullah knew that attention is the steering wheel of creation. Where you place your focus, energy flows, and what you feed with energy expands. Most people feed what they fear, and then wonder why it grows. They rehearse failure in their minds, replay rejection, anticipate loss. Each thought is a vibration, and repetition reinforces reality. The law does not distinguish between wanted and unwanted. It multiplies whatever you attend to. This is why attention must be guarded like treasure. To focus on what you lack is to ensure its continuation. To focus on what you love is to summon more of it. Whatever dominates your inner dialogue becomes the world you wake up to. The conscious creator learns to use attention as a sculptor uses a chisel. Every thought refines the form, every feeling shapes the detail. You do not fight against what you do not want. You simply withdraw attention from it, and it withers. Creation is not resistance. It is selection. You choose where to place your energy, and the universe expands that choice into experience. This is how Abdullah lived, not as a reactor to circumstances, but as a deliberate sender of energy. His world was not perfect because life exempted him from contrast. It was harmonious because he refused to feed discord with attention. He knew that energy responds to focus as faithfully as shadow follows light. Once you understand this, you realize that mastery of the law of attraction is mastery of self. It is the ability to hold a chosen vibration regardless of what appears. It is emotional sovereignty. You stop being swayed by outer events because you know the outer is temporary, but the inner is creative. You cease reacting and start responding. You do not seek proof, you generate it. You do not chase, you align. This is the quiet confidence that all great manifestors share. They know the law cannot fail because it is not something outside them. It is their own consciousness in operation. And this is the foundation of the secret Abdullah used. He lived from the end, not toward it. He did not hope for outcomes. He assumed them internally until they became natural. His power was not force but alignment. He did not command the universe. He harmonized with it. And in doing so, the universe had no choice but to echo his inner world. The law of attraction is not about control, it is about coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs agree, creation is instantaneous. The only delay is the distance between who you are now and who you decide to be. To truly master the law of attraction, one must learn the art of inner vision. Abdullah understood this well. He knew that every event first existed as an image within consciousness before it appeared in form. To imagine is not to escape reality, it is to create it. Imagination is the womb of the universe, the invisible workshop where every experience is conceived. Most dismiss imagination as fantasy, unaware that the physical world itself is crystallized imagination. Every building, every invention, every idea that has shaped humanity began as an image in someone's mind. What you see around you now is the residue of what someone once dared to imagine. Abdullah taught that to imagine effectively is to feel from the result, not toward it. When most people visualize, they see themselves trying to achieve something. They place their desire in the future, and so it remains there. But when you imagine from the end, when you feel yourself already in possession of your desire, you create a vibrational signature that matches completion. The universe, responding to vibration, begins to organize the outer world accordingly. To live from the end is to occupy the frequency of fulfillment. This is not pretense, it is alignment. The difference between pretending and embodying is emotion. Pretending feels false. Embodying feels natural. The more natural it feels, the faster reality conforms. He often said that the secret is not in forcing an image, but in resting within it. True visualization is not effortful. It is effortless. It is not a mental strain, but a gentle absorption. When you enter a scene in imagination and truly feel its reality, your subconscious accepts it as fact. The universe then takes over the task of bringing that inner fact to outer expression. You do not need to know how. The mechanism is beyond the conscious mind. Your only role is to persist in the feeling until it becomes normal. The outer world, though seemingly solid, is pliable to the steady vibration of a consistent mind. What you feel real within you will one day call memory. Abdullah would tell Neville, "You must remain in the end until the end becomes you." This was his practice. Whenever a desire arose, he would enter the state of the wish fulfilled and stay there, emotionally, until all doubt dissolved. To him, imagination was not idle daydreaming. It was communion with the creative force itself. The unseen world was more real to him than the physical, for he knew that the unseen shapes the seen. His eyes were open, but his awareness lived in vision, and because of that, what he imagined with conviction inevitably materialized. The law of attraction responds to feeling more than image. You can visualize endlessly, but if the emotion is missing, the vibration remains weak. Emotion is the magnetic current that gives your vision life. The universe reads vibration, not vocabulary. This is why gratitude, love, joy, and peace are the most powerful emotional states. They carry the highest frequencies. To feel grateful before the blessing arrives is to prove your faith in the unseen. To feel love before the relationship appears is to summon it. To feel peace before the problem resolves is to declare dominion over it. The emotion precedes the evidence. When the inner reality feels more real than the outer, manifestation is near. Abdullah knew that neutrality is just as powerful as passion. When he desired something, he did not cling to it with desperation. He released it into the law with calm certainty. To want intensely without faith is to broadcast lack, but to desire calmly, knowing it is already yours, is to vibrate completion. Detachment is not indifference. It is confidence. It is the quiet knowing that what is yours cannot be lost and what is not yours cannot remain. Many delay their manifestations because they vibrate in need. Need is resistance disguised as desire. It tells the universe, "I do not have," and the universe, faithful to its law, mirrors that absence. But when you release the need, when you rest in trust, your energy clears. Then the current of attraction flows unobstructed. Neutrality is magnetic. It is the energy of knowing, rather than hoping. It is the frequency of kings and creators. When you no longer beg for your desire but rest as though it were already done, your vibration becomes irresistible. The universe loves certainty, for certainty matches truth. Everything you seek already exists in potential. Your calm belief is the invitation that brings it to life. When you stop chasing, you start receiving. The most effortless manifestations are born from the most relaxed minds. The law of attraction does not respond to effort. It responds to equilibrium. Abdullah's discipline was not in doing, but in being. He did not chase opportunities. He attracted them through alignment. His focus was not on external control, but internal coherence. He knew that when the mind is stable, the world becomes obedient. When your inner state is settled, chaos loses its grip. Reality bends to the vibration of peace. To cultivate that stillness is to master attraction itself, for nothing resists a mind that no longer resists itself. He practiced a daily ritual of inner silence, not prayer in the traditional sense, but communion. He would sit in stillness and withdraw attention from the outer world until he felt only the presence of his desire fulfilled. He did not plead or persuade. He simply accepted. In that silence, he became one with the vibration of what he wished to experience. The law does not respond to repetition. It responds to resonance. When the vibration is matched, creation is complete. The outer world then unfolds naturally, as if by coincidence. But coincidence is merely the visible footprint of alignment. To practice this law as Abdullah did requires patience and gentleness with yourself. The mind will wander. Old patterns of doubt will arise. The temptation to check for progress will surface. Yet each time you return to inner conviction, you strengthen your magnetic field. The universe is not testing you, it is synchronizing with you. Every time you hold faith in the unseen, you accelerate the process. The invisible always precedes the visible. What appears as delay is often alignment in motion. He would remind his students that emotion is energy, and energy is magnetic. To hold anger, resentment, or fear is to attract their likeness. To hold love, joy, and gratitude is to summon abundance. Your vibration is your invitation. What you hold, you host. This is not moral doctrine, it is vibrational law. The universe never judges, it only reflects. Therefore, emotional mastery is not about suppression, but direction. Feel fully but choose wisely. Every emotion you dwell upon becomes a decree. The moment you choose to align with peace, you begin to shift your entire field of attraction. And so, Abdullah lived as a man of deliberate frequency. He was not swayed by outer events because he knew the outer was only echo. When challenges arose, he did not fight them. He adjusted his vibration. When delays appeared, he reaffirmed his knowing. His composure was his strength. He understood that life is not happening to him, but responding through him. This awareness made him unshakable. His emotions were instruments, not obstacles. He played them with intention, and the world danced in harmony with his tone. Most people spend their lives trying to control circumstances. Abdullah learned to control vibration instead. He understood that to attempt to manipulate matter without addressing energy is futility. The outer rearranges itself naturally when the inner frequency shifts. You cannot push reality into alignment. You must attract it by resonance. Energy precedes matter. Consciousness precedes condition. When your vibration changes, your world changes automatically. It cannot do otherwise. That is the precision of law. He would say, do not try to make things happen. Make yourself ready for them. Readiness is vibrational alignment. It is the quiet acknowledgement that you have already received. To be ready is to live as if your desire were already true. This readiness dissolves time, erases struggle, and invites ease. Everything moves toward the one who vibrates readiness. You do not chase what is already yours, you allow it. And this allowing, this effortless cooperation with law, is what the world calls miracle. But to the awakened, it is simply the natural order of things. When you master your vibration, you cease to fear uncertainty. You no longer beg for signs, for you understand that the universe cannot withhold what matches your frequency. You stop waiting and begin being. And in that being, creation unfolds quietly, gracefully, inevitably. This was the essence of Abdullah's secret. Not effort, not ritual, not force, but vibration. He became the embodiment of what he sought, and because he became it, he attracted it. What he imagined within, the world was compelled to display without. For the universe is not listening to your words, it is listening to your energy. The true test of mastery is persistence. Anyone can believe when results are visible, but creation belongs to those who remain faithful when the senses deny it. Abdullah understood this. He knew that the outer world moves slowly, that appearances are the last to change. So he did not flinch when the evidence lagged behind his vision. He remained in the end, calm and certain, knowing the law was already at work. Time, he would say, is not an obstacle. It is the servant of conviction. What is sustained within must, by law, appear without. Faith is not blind. It is focused. It is the quiet certainty that the unseen is already real. When you hold that state, reality bends to it. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Doors open not by luck but by resonance. The world does not resist a mind that no longer doubts itself. Persistence is simply remaining faithful to the vibration of completion until the world remembers what you already know. Abdullah's secret was never about commanding life, but understanding it. He did not chase, he aligned. He did not ask, he accepted. He did not wait, he became. And in that being, all things were added unto him. The law of attraction was not his belief. It was his awareness. He lived as one who knew that creation is finished and reality is only catching up. And so, when you finally understand that life is not happening to you but through you, you begin to move differently. You stop forcing, you stop fearing, you stop begging. You simply choose a new vibration and remain in it. You trust the unseen, you rest in knowing. For the universe is faithful. It always mirrors the energy you hold. The moment you feel it is done, it is done. That is the secret Abdullah lived by. That is the secret few ever realize. Because the universe is not waiting to give. It is waiting for you to remember. And when you do, you will no longer ask, when will it happen? You will simply smile as Abdullah did and say quietly within, it already has.